Hello everyone and welcome back to another pixelforlife.com video tutorial. Today we're going to try something completely different and it's going to be hard to kind of tell you what it's going to look like because that really depends on you. But if you follow along, you guys should get some really cool results. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create sort of a horror or scary face, and I've decided to do this because I saw a guy on YouTube do it, and it was totally awesome. So, I don't remember his name, but props to him for the idea. Now, this is an image I got off of Google, and so is the second image that I'm going to use. So, you guys should be able to find these pretty easily. First thing you have is a face, and it's straight on. You can do angled shots, but if you do, you need to make sure to get an angled skull, okay? And if you don't get the angled skull, this isn't going to turn out right. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer over here, and then we're going to grab this skull, and we're going to paste it on the top like so. We're going to set the opacity down, and what we want to do is we want to scale this skull down until it just fits inside the head here a little bit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and OK that. But if we take the opacity of this down a little bit more, you can see here that the alignment is still not right. It's too high. So let's go ahead and bring this down. And that's not too bad, but let's go ahead and then bring this up here a little bit. And then we want to also hold down Control and Shift and bring these two sides in, bring these two out, and then bring this one here up like so. So that we get sort of a overall nice looking effect here. And that's actually not too bad right there. It lines up pretty well to the contours of the face. So first we're going to go ahead and put that opacity all the way back up. And then I'm going to go ahead and just scale over this, and you can see here that we get some really nice looking effects. Let's see here, which one do I really like? That one there's not too bad. And I really like this vivid light. It's really nice, so I'm going to go with that. Now, vivid light. And I'm going to go ahead and just paint the rest of this like so, because I don't want it to have a weird looking little like border on it or whatever. Now this is starting to look pretty good, but we have a couple of things that we have to work out. First thing would be this white like haze that is over this image, and we can do that by simply going in here and grabbing the color that we're using and just painting over it like so. And then when we go back to vivid light, it should have actually been gone, but it's not. So could just be the blend mode. And yeah, that's what it is. So let's just go ahead and we'll just use multiply. Now, before we actually put that on, there's a couple things we need to do to this image, mainly with the mouth area. So let's go ahead and use our clone stamp tool here, and we're going to grab a selection and just start painting it. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to just neutralize this area where the lips are, because we don't want the lips to be showing through our skull image. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're actually going to do that. Go ahead and select around it like so. Go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian blur it. And we'll just do it about like so, so that it's definitely blurred out. Okay? And then we can go ahead and put that back on there, and you can see that the teeth stand out a lot more. Now, the next thing I want to do is on this skull image, I'm going to duplicate that. Go ahead and get rid of the one, just stick it at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and go in here, and I want to delete or erase this area in here where the eye is. Okay? For both sides. Now, you could just do one side, and that would actually create a pretty cool effect, but I decided I wanted to do both. Alright, so that looks pretty good so far. Now, I want to go ahead and get off that layer, go back to this layer, create a new layer above it called Eye, And we're going to go ahead and zoom into this eye here. And I want to go ahead and use my burn tool and dodge tools. I'm going to make those smaller. And I want to just go around the eye until it's really, really green and stands out on both sides. And then if you want, you can change the color, but that's up to you. And then I'm also going to make the white really, really nice and white on these eyes so that they really stand out, kind of like a possessed look. And you might actually want to go ahead and just use your exposure all the way up and see how that does on the white area at first, and then go ahead and do it over the green one time. And that actually looks pretty sweet, so I'm going to do that. Like so. And you can see his eyes look a little possessed now. And then when we put the skull on there, it really looks nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this brush bigger like so, and I want to take the flow down to about 30% and then just erase around the eyes so that these little lines here aren't quite as intense. And that looks good there. Okay. Now let's go ahead and down this opacity to about 70%, like so. Now the nose is a little hard to get right with the skull area, so I'm actually going to just delete that area around the nose, like so. That way I don't have to worry about that, and we'll do something else with the nose a little later. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Now his eyebrows, we'll just leave those alone I think for now, but let's go ahead and see what it's like if we burn those so that they're really dark. And I'm actually on the wrong layer there. And that's not too bad there. I also want to burn underneath the eyes like so, and then make my brush a little bit bigger and burn this area in here so it kind of looks almost like you got punched up a little bit. And I'll go ahead and do the nose area as well, make it kind of red. And I'm going to kind of burn around the image a little bit. Now, something I want to do here is I want to go ahead and use my dodge tool, make it kind of a big brush, and I want to do these like streak things on the neck area here, and then go back to my burn tool and do the opposite ones, which will kind of make it stand out and kind of look a little bit more intense. Now this eye area here, I don't actually need that because I did it within the actual image, so I'll get rid of that. And this is starting to look a little bit better. And I'm going to go through the blend modes one last time and see what else there is, because I had really liked that vivid light before. An overlay actually looks pretty sweet. Let's keep going though. And yeah, I'm just going to stick with the overlay one, I think. And let's go ahead and use the blur tool, make it nice and big. And we'll go ahead and make this sure the strength is all the way up. We'll just kind of blur that. I'm going to duplicate this layer. Go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, really blurring that out. And then change that to Hard Light. And see what that looks like. I don't really care for it like I thought I would, so. That actually looks pretty cool, but and I'm actually just going to erase this area here at the neck and just have it as the default because it looks a little bit better like that. Okay, and let's go back to our burn tool. And let's go ahead and just burn the forehead a little bit because it's a little dark for me. And We'll just leave it about like so. Let's use our dodge tool here. Let's really lighten those teeth up. And that's looking pretty awesome right there. I want to go ahead and just set the opacity of this layer down a little bit. About 70% looks good. And I'm liking with